There must be a higher love.
All right, let me quit putting it off here. And let's talk about it. All right, so I am going to be taking a break. I'm going to be taking a break from streaming and gaming for at least a month. Hope the stream's been good. Streams have been good. Honestly, the season 10 launch stream was probably my best stream ever without a raid. We hit 110 concurrent viewers on the launch of season 10, and that was with no raid. I think that might be a Gumbuck Gaming channel record. So I'm at like that's one of the best streams that I've had since I started streaming. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take a break. And here's the story, guys. I'm gonna lay it all out there, and I want to share this story because, you know, if anyone can relate and that's going through stress or going through trials and tribulations in their life, just know that you're not alone. And I'm right there with you. You know, a lot of you guys, I said this earlier in the stream. A lot of you guys see like front facing Gumbuck. And by that, I mean like this jovial, happy-go-lucky, cutting up and having a great time on stream. But there's a whole life that goes on behind the camera, not just for me, but for all of you. First off, I want to say that I really appreciate everybody who has come to hang out on all the streams. You guys are the absolute goats. And I mean, you have no idea how much I appreciate this community and all the friends that I've made in doing this. But here's the story, and here's how it all started. Front facing only bucks. All right, I'm gonna ignore chat here just for a little bit so I can get into the story mode. Guys, you hear me about the wrap up? Yeah. All right. So a couple of years ago, I started a transportation and logistics company. I started a big company. I did this while maintaining my employment. I kept my full-time job with the railroad as a signal engineering inspector, and I started this company. And I just poured my entire my heart and soul into this company for 2 years. And it was an emotional roller coaster. It was hands down the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, to try to stand up this transportation trucking company. We were hauling frac sand. That aside, long story short, over the 2-year span, we had ups and downs, we had successes, we had failures, but throughout the entire time, I was miserable, I was stressed, I was working harder than I ever worked in my life. I mean, I was working 150, 180 hours a week between my full-time job and then being the CEO, EOOO, the trainer, running trucks myself. I did it all, and it was very tough. At the end of the day, there was some things that were outside of my control and my company's control that led to the failure of the company. There was some stuff with Biden's administration. There were some things with oil and fracking that basically, the company being newer, 2 years old, I couldn't hang on. And I had to make a tough decision. The decision was I either have to take an L, shut the company down, file bankruptcy, and then go into hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt so I could give my employees a severance package. Or I keep trying to run the company, I run it dry, and then I just fire everybody overnight, and nobody has nothing. I mean, I put my house on the line. I did everything. I sold a bunch of stuff. Like, I invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in this company. And so when I decided to file bankruptcy, it was scary, and I was depressed, you know, coming off the failure of that company, this huge thing that I tried. I took a swing and I missed, essentially. I did feel good about giving everybody a severance package. I gave everybody 3 months pay, all the employees. I said, listen, we got to shut the doors down. Here's 3 months. I'm so sorry. Do what you can to find another job. I was lucky enough to keep my employment with the railroad. And so that was a saving grace, but I had to get a lawyer. I had to like lawyer up and file a bankruptcy. It was massive. And so that was it. Not only was that a huge financial hit, but emotionally and mentally, it was a massive hit. And so when I decided to shut the company down, I got to be honest, I felt a huge pressure lifted off my shoulders. And I honestly, part of me was like, thank God it's over. Like, I was ready to be done with it because it was so stressful. But let's see here. It should be, okay, there we go. We're back. Yeah, it's muted. It got back. Sorry. I got to open up a program so my computer doesn't go to sleep. All right. So after the trucking company, I became depressed, but I didn't know I was depressed. And so this is part of why I want to share the story. Yo, hold on. Kids.
Get over here!
That's what I'm saying to the kids. All right. So I had this like idea of what depression was, and it was like a cartoon style of depression, and I wasn't fitting into that mold. So I didn't think I was depressed, but I most certainly was. I wasn't eating, I wasn't exercising. I was like, and I was sad. I felt like I had like this huge cloud over my head. And after the trucking company, I just wanted to chill with my family and play some video games. Because while I was running the trucking company, I wasn't playing video games at all. But, my family, they're living their lives. Unicorn Slayers playing games with kids. I mean, they're all doing their thing. And so after that, I was like, yo, I'm ready to just not do anything. And let's play some games. Let's have some fun. Let's just relax, right? And I used video games as an escape. I definitely used video games as like self-medication, as a process to feel better, and a distraction. I distracted myself from the stress of the bankruptcy and the business loss with video games. And it was really awesome. I was really lucky to have my family, have my wife and my kids as a support system, because I play with them. So like, we're playing video games. I'm ignoring all of the things that are happening in real life and just focusing on that. There's a couple of other things that transpired during this time that contributed to the stress, in that my mom has a cancer. She has a rare bone marrow cancer that can't be cured. My brother has some type of disease that they don't know what, and they can't cure it. He's got lesions on his brain. I mean, he's having seizures. He's passing out. And he was the sole, at the time, caregiver of my mom. She has polycythemia vera. So there's the stress of the health issues that are going on with my brother and my mom. There's the business, there's this and that. So it was such a solace to turn on a game and just shut all of that down. And honestly, I came back to gaming just a month or two before the finals came out. So here's the timeline. I'm just going to lay out the whole story. I've shared this story with a couple of my friends that I've met in this journey, like Old Dirty Baker and BigBabyTuna, but I haven't really shared it with you guys. So I started playing Halo Infinite with Unicorn Slayer mostly because my kids are like, that's lame, Dad. I mean, we played a lot of Fortnite together and stuff too. But I started playing, like, all that trucking company shit happened the summer before the finals came out. It happened the summer before the finals came out, and the bankruptcy lasted about 6 months. And so I'm playing some video games. I'm using it to self-medicate and distract myself and I wasn't really healing though, but it was helping me to feel better. But I wasn't facing the things that I'm going to talk about here in a minute on the backside of this. And that's why I need the month off. But a friend of mine reached out to me and he was like, yo, the finals is coming out. Come play the finals. And at first I was like, nah, because I don't usually switch games. Like, I get on one game and that's the only thing I play. I stick with it and I just bust heads. He finally talked me into it. Actually, it's Hand Grenade, who you may have seen in the chat. So he talked me into playing the finals. Day one, I hated it. I didn't like it. Day two, I played with him and it kind of clicked. I kind of understood like the potential of the game and I fell in love with it immediately. And I picked up making YouTube on the side, not because I wanted to be a YouTuber, not because I wanted to be a streamer, but it was another mechanism for me to continue to distract myself, because I am the type of person who's got to work on something. Like, I got to keep, like, idle hands, what do they say? Like something about the devil's playground or something like that. So I started messing around with YouTube as another vehicle to continue to distract myself from all the real life shit that was going on. I did not do it because I wanted to be a YouTuber. I wanted to be a streamer. That's not why I did any of that shit. It was like, this is a hobby. This is a project. This is something I can mess around with, have fun with, and focus my attention on to keep me distracted from the real life stress and depression that I was working my way through. And we were gaming a lot. Actually, we were gaming more than I had ever gamed before since I was like a young man before I had kids. I would say gaming for me too much. But we excused it. I say we because I'm talking about my wife, Unicorn Slayer, and I. We talked about this. We're like, hey, we're gaming a lot, but it's helping me, so we're gonna allow it. Like we're gonna kind of turn the other cheek and let me game more often and a lot because it was helping me through it. And it was, because we're like gaming every day. It was like, and we weren't really doing that prior to the trucking company. Like I was very active. I exercised every day. I weighed and measured all my food. Like before the trucking company, friends and family would refer to me as like a cyborg. They basically thought I was like a robot because I was such a disciplined person. And it was those things that made me feel confident to start the trucking company, because I thought my self-belief was that I could outwork any problem. Well, that self-belief was disintegrated with the trucking company. And that was like a big identity thing that I took a hit on, and I didn't realize it at first. So in any case, started playing the finals, started making the YouTube merely as a distraction and for fun, and because I enjoyed it. Really wasn't streaming very much or taking it seriously. But I streamed a little bit, mostly on YouTube only, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Like it was an amazing thing that I'd never experienced in gaming, to have these people show up in the chat and be cool as shit and be like, this is a whole group of people that I can laugh with, I can cut up with, that I can make laugh. Like it makes me feel really good to put a smile on someone's face. Like I'm a joker and I love making people laugh. I love laughing. And that's something that was like a cherry on top of gaming with my wife, was to have you guys here and be a part of my healing, kind of, for lack of a better term, right? To meet all of you cool ass people and just cut up, and like the community started to grow a little bit. And I started to get kind of like a positive response from that. And it was like it fed me to like lean into it and feel good and have fun doing it. And it was like, it kept snowballing in that way. And then I was lucky enough to be blessed with the opportunity to become an Embark partner. Embark reached out to me on Discord in a DM, and they said they're going to do this new partnership program for the finals, and they asked me if I wanted to be a part of the pilot program. So obviously I'm like, oh my God, yes, please. Like, thank you. What? No way. Like, why? You ask all those like self-defeating questions, like, why me? Like, who am I? Like, who am I to get an opportunity? Like, I'm nobody. Like, I'm not actually good at this. All those self-defeating things those tapes that can run in your head, right? Like, I don't deserve this. But that aside, I was like, I felt really blessed, very thankful for the opportunity. And of course, I'm like, I'm going to do it and I'm going to lean into it. But it was like a double-edged sword, because then it became an excuse to be obsessive about video gaming and making content, right? When really it began as a method of self-medicating, which honestly can be helpful, but also cannot be helpful, because it can actually distract you from working on the issues that you need to work through, right? It's like the stages of grief with the death of a loved one. Like, I was going through stages of grief during this process, and I wasn't really processing it because I was distracting myself obsessively with gaming and then the Embark partnership. And I was like, now I have to perform. And then you start making all these expectations for yourself, and you're like, I got to do this. I got to game every day. And it became an excuse to game, because now it's like, well, Unicorn Slayer, like, we have this opportunity. We can't squander it. And then I began to feel tethered to doing this, in a sense, as much as I loved it, which I do and I still do. Don't get it twisted. But it was keeping me from processing my depression and everything that happened with the trucking company, and keeping me from locking back into the person I was before the trucking company. Now, I will never be that person again, and that's okay. I've started businesses in the past. I've started a CrossFit gym. I was a professional tattoo artist for many years. We had a real estate company. My wife and I were flipping houses. I've done things and I failed, and I can look back at those what looked like and felt like massive failures, and I learned so much from them. And when hindsight's 2020, like, it put me on a new trajectory that led to even greater successes. I'm about halfway through life if I'm lucky. And so I've kind of been there and done it and done that with some of these things. And I can tell some of you younger folks out there, when you're in the middle of what feels like failure, just know that there is no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. And it's feedback, and it puts you on new trajectories into things that were even better than the thing that you thought you lost. I've literally gone through this in my life, and I know the trucking company thing was one of those things. In fact, that led me to the finals, which led me to get the Embark partnership, which also led me to meet all of you fucking badass people. So had the trucking company thing not done that, I wouldn't be here right now having this conversation with you. And I kind of wouldn't give that up for the world if I'm being real. Well, maybe the millions of dollars I could have made with the trucking company, but that aside. So anyways, full circle. So, but I'm not working out, like I'm barely exercising. It's so hard to get a routine with exercise, trying to stream every day, make content, make videos, work a full-time job, be a husband, be a father, get shit done around the house. It was overwhelming. But I felt tethered, right? Because it's like, well, I have this opportunity. I can't squander it. I need to do it. But I'm scrambling. I'm spinning my wheels. And now that I'm further away from the trucking company thing, I'm ruminating. And I'm thinking, like, how do I feel about myself? Like, post that. Like, I had these thoughts about my identity going into the trucking company. Now, how do I feel about myself post trucking company? And I'm going to be completely real with you guys and transparent. It's part of me that feels like a failure. There's part of me that feels like I'm not as good as I thought I was. I'm not as strong as I thought I was. I'm not as, like, I can't outwork every problem. So then if I can't, then who am I or what am I? Now, don't get me wrong, because I have a ton of things to be thankful for. I really do. And that keeps me afloat. That keeps me sane. And I'm gaming has helped me. Streaming has helped me. Hanging out with you guys has helped me. And I genuinely feel better. I'm in a much better place mentally in my life, but I'm still kind of stuck. And I need a pattern disruption. And so I need to step away from gaming completely. I'm not going to game at all. I'm not going to do any of this for at least a month. And during this time, I'm going to exercise every day like I used to. Like, I'm going to get back into my old routines. I'm going to get back to, being on point with my diet, feeling like I'm firing off at all cylinders. I'm going to get back to some of those things that I was proud of that I did as a person. And I'm going to reestablish my relationship with my life in conjunction or parallel to gaming and streaming in the Gumbuck channel. I need to shake it off. We're going to go camping. So tomorrow we're actually driving out. We rented a cabin on Broken Bow. We're going to spend 3 days in nature, and I'm going to take the rest of that month off. I've already talked to Embark about this, and they're very supportive. And I'm going to spend this time. I'm going to be journaling. I'm going to be reading. I've got a couple of books that I'm going to read, and I'm just going to face the demons that I've been distracting myself from for the last, year and a half or whatever, with this wonderful experience that I found through gaming. So both things can be good and both things can be right. And I think it's time. I think I'm in a healthy enough space to be able to tackle those things and address those things full force. And I just need some space to do that. And I knew that this was starting to creep up because the last month or two, there was times where I wasn't feeling happy, but I streamed anyway. Like, I wasn't feeling like, yes, let's go. But I did it anyway because I felt kind of like I had to. And I don't want to do that to you guys, right? Because that'll begin to manifest itself. Like, if I let this continue down without tackling it, 6 months from now, a year from now, I might just quit altogether. That's not fair to you guys. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to uni. It's not fair to the kids. Because I'll end up maybe disliking this, and I don't want that to happen. So I caught that early. Like, I nipped that in the bud because I've been there before, like in my 20s and stuff. I've allowed it to get bad because I just buried my head down, put my nose down, and just worked through it. I was like, I'll work through the discomfort. I'll work through my unhappiness and come out the other side. And that didn't really work for me. I was always forced to take, I would like totally mentally break and then be forced to do something like this. So there's a lot of science around pattern disruption. And so I'm going to create a pattern disruption by changing my daily routine in a large way that turns the neural plasticity on in my brain and then gets me kind of geared up and wired up to install some good habits, some new habits. And I feel like I'm going to come back better, stronger, happier, like more sane, more complete, and just ready to go. And that's kind of like my vision for this sabbatical. And I want to say that you guys have absolutely, you really don't know how thankful I am for all of you, and just the sheer amount of like real, legitimate, authentic gratitude I have for everyone who's tuned into the channel, everybody who's followed, subbed, even if you don't do that, you know, but when you spend your hard-earned money on something that we're doing here, like I'm telling you, it gets me in the feels. Like, it shit's crazy. Like, thank you. Thank you so much for always being here, cutting up, having fun. This is one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had in my life, and you guys have contributed to that. So that's it, folks. That's kind of like the beginning and the end of all of that. I know I have not been reading the chats. I will catch up on them. But I want to say this. So, thank you guys. I'm kind of looking at the chats. I want to say thank you so much. I mean, I knew you guys are going to be supportive, and I know you guys will be here when Gumbuck Gaming gets back. But I will say this. So I am more recently BigBabyTuna in the chat, friend of the show, friend in RL. You know, I met the kid, great kid. We started working together on editing videos and creating content for the Gumbuck Gaming channel and the social media and all that kind of stuff. So over the next month, here's one thing that I am actually looking forward to, is making some YouTube videos while I'm taking a break from gaming. So I've got some YouTube video ideas that I want to do that I felt like I've not been able to do with my full-time job, my stream schedule, hanging out with the family. But now with not gaming, I'll be able to focus a little bit on some content that I've wanted to make. And I'm excited to break from streaming and gaming. I'm not going to game at all. So I can make some YouTube videos. So stay tuned to the Gumbuck Gaming YouTube, because BigBabyTuna and I are going to be working together to make some videos over the next 4 weeks. And then we're also going to do, I will be going live on Twitch, but just know ahead of time, it's going to be like the best of gameplay. So we're going to get videos and gameplay from previous footage, and it'll be replays. So I will be going live a few times a week with replays. If you guys want to tune into that, totally cool. If you don't, absolutely totally cool. But we're going to keep going live every week over the next 4 with some best of Gumbuck, games and stuff like that. So we'll keep that kind of alive if you're interested. And then after a month, I'm going to readdress. I'm going to see where I'm at. I'm going to see how I feel. I expect I feel better. And I'm going to make a decision on how I move forward from there. Yeah, so I'm not disappearing, by the way. I will be in the Discord. I'll be talking about the movies because we do this anyway. Like, if you're a part of the Gumbuck Gaming Discord, I drop songs that I'm listening to. We talk about movies that we watch. We do pictures of shit that we go see. Like, I will still be there, guys. I will still be in the Discord, like, looking at the stuff y'all post, dropping posts in there, talking to you guys. I will still be available via the Discord. I'm not stopping our friendship. I'm just stopping gaming so I can kind of address some things, get some things dialed in, and come back strong. So I hope everybody enjoyed that very serious and heartfelt conversation with the Friar Tuck haircut. I hope you guys like that. I wish that I had done it before I got my haircut, because I'm just going to clip this. I'm going to post this on YouTube. So if you did miss the talk, I'm just going to clip this. I'm going to post it on YouTube. The video is going to be titled "To Whom It May Concerns." And that's it, baby. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the love.
There must be a higher love down in the heart or hidden in the stars above. Without it, life is wasted. time. Look inside your heart and I look inside mine. Things look so bad everywhere. In this whole world, what is fair? We walk the line and try to see